Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Mile High Game Guys board gaming podcast. I'm your host, Adrian.
I'm Zach.
And I am Jeff.
And we're coming to you with another board gaming podcast.
With zero contractions.
I'm not sure I can commit to that.
So far, so good.
No, in fact, I just said I'm not sure I can commit to that, which is a contraction. So I already ruined it, and I didn't even mean to. I was just like, oh, no shit. I literally ruined it.
You could never be a Star Trek Next Generation character. That's all I'm saying.
This is probably correct.
Yeah.
Before we get too far into things, here during the holidays, we are temporarily being sponsored. And so we have a little something to tell you about our sponsor, GiveWell. Donating money to help people can be a wonderful and selfless act. But how can you feel confident that your donations are improving or saving lives effectively? You could do weeks of research to find the charities that are out there, what programs they run, how effective those programs are, and how the charity might use your money. Or you could visit givewell.org. There, you'll get a short, vetted list of the best charities they've found at saving or improving lives per dollar. GiveWell spends over 20,000 hours each year researching charitable organizations and only recommends a few of the highest impact, evidence-backed charities that they've found. Over 50,000 donors have used GiveWell to donate more than $750 million. Rigorous evidence suggests these donations will save tens of thousands of lives and improve the lives of millions more. And here's the best part. GiveWell is free. GiveWell wants to empower as many donors as possible to make informed decisions about their donations. They publish all of their research and recommendations on their site for free, no sign-up required. They allocate your tax-deductible donation to the charity you choose without taking a cut. In fact, famed listener and long-time emailer, Andrew the Hater, uses GiveWell regularly and was very excited. He sent us an email last week, excited to hear about how we are working with them here through the holidays. So,
and I've heard over the years about how great GiveWell is.
So we're sponsored by them now. And if you've never donated to GiveWell's recommended charities before, you can have your donation matched up to $250 before the end of the year or as long as matching funds last. To claim your match, go to givewell.org, pick podcast for how you learned about them, and then enter Mile High Game Guys at checkout. We have it on good authority that it even auto-completes. You don't even have to fully type out Mile High Game Guys. You get like a mile in the podcast. It's like, boom, there
We're
it is.
the only podcast that begins with mile, so.
At least on GiveWell's database.
Yes.
That's the only database that matters.
Indeed.
So.
Make sure that...
Right now, absolutely.
Make sure they know that you heard about GiveWell from Mile High Game Guys to get your donation matched. And you only got like a couple more weeks to do that. It's the end of the year. We're right there. Holiday season.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there we
go. Is it Hanukkah Day 8 right now?
Yes, it is.
We're the final day of Hanukkah.
Although it might have ended. Their stuff ends.
Sorry, Zach, you are the expert here.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, I just know that their stuff starts and ends on sunrise or sunset. So I just don't know if it's
so that would have ended like at least 12 hours ago when sunset happened.
Yeah,
so.
here between winter and the mountains and bullshit daylight savings time, it gets dark so
Hanukkah
early.
has a coin flip level of ending time.
Yeah, I was very surprised this year. Like, I don't think I've ever known that Hanukkah was based on a lunar calendar. Like, I've just always thought it was sometime in mid-December. So when it started in like November this year, I was like, wait a second, something is different than I understood. Cool. I think that is a nice little engagement period, and we can maybe dive right into talking about playing board games.
No. Yes.
Okay. I'll go ahead and start. I don't have a whole lot. This past Wednesday, game night was at Diebold Brewing Company. I showed up. I'd planned to show up early. Ended up getting there about 5:30, maybe even 5:40, so barely
Technically
early. Technically early. I've been talking up Hallertau, and so a friend of ours at game night named Andy and his significant other Brenna, they were interested in playing and learning it with Megan and I. And so we were like, sweet, we'll do that. Then one of Megan's coworkers decided she was going to come to game night. So I was like, okay, well, we don't have as much of an early start, so it's probably not going to work anyway, especially if Megan's coworkers are going to come. But what I can do is teach you the game. We can play maybe a round or two and then put it away, and then we'll know it for next time so we can get going quicker. And that was about like 6-ish. And Megan was like, oh, my friend says she'll be here at 6:10. And I was like, that is enough time for us to put the game away. So we did not end up doing Hallertau. We switched instead and played Cartographers, the boring original base version, because I was not cool enough to get in on the Kickstarter for the new deluxe edition. And we played that until her friend got there. It was good, like Cartographers pretty much always is. And then when that was done, her friend had arrived, and so the 5 of us played a 5-player game of Stockpile. Which
I think that's when I wandered in. Was Stockpile was being played?
Yeah. Stockpile went fantastically. I really like Stockpile. We only played with the forecast dice and the investors. We didn't play with investment strategies. We didn't play with commodities, and we didn't play with bonds on this one.
But always dice.
Always dice.
Always dice.
In fact, somebody from game night came by and was like, oh, are you going to play with the dice? And I was like, I would never not play with the dice. And they're like, yeah, it makes it a little bit better version. I was like, no, it makes it an objectively better version. He's like, oh, I don't know if you could say that. And I was like, I would not play it without the dice. It is a bad game. And he was like,
it's only 6, because then you only have 6 cards, period. Right?
You only have 6, and they are, exactly which ones they are, and they're not. You can't have like good or bad turns or anything like that. I agree with that so much that during BGG Con, Boyd like grabbed Stockpile to be like, hey, we can play this. And I was like, yeah. And then like we were getting ready to play it, and I was like, is it the expansion in there? And he's like, he looked at it, he was like, no. And I was like, okay, well, we can do something else then.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
But
also, like playing Stockpile with the standard board, like.
Yeah. A standard board, no investors, just straight skill.
Oh,
God. Straight, yeah.
I have never played Stockpile on the standard size board, literally ever.
Same here.
Not even the first time that y'all taught me the game. It was always on the expert side.
I feel like one of the first times I played was like a bunch of us all learning it, and we just didn't even know there was the basic side.
Yeah.
We just played with the other side, and it made sense because why wouldn't you?
I don't even know what that game would be, but it's not a game I want to play.
But yeah, so yeah, I don't remember who. Oh, I do remember who it was. I just don't remember their name. But yeah, they came by and I was like, this is the only way to play the game. It's with the dice.
Yes.
Don't bother otherwise.
Yes.
After we finished that, Andy and Brenna took off, and so then Megan and her coworker and I played some Now Boarding. Taught her Now Boarding, 3-player game of it.
VIPs?
Did not do VIPs because she was new to the game. I need to start playing with VIPs again because they really do up that difficulty just enough.
Really to the max. I think that's as hard as the game gets, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
We were still pretty close in base game though. A couple times. 3-player, I haven't played a lot of 3-player. I usually play 4 or 5. 3-player gets tight. Like depending on what airlines you choose, there's some cities that are very hard to get to.
Yeah, isn't it like the more people are playing, the more routes open up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one side of the board plays 2 and 3-player, and the other side of the board plays 4 and 5-player.
That's what it was. Okay.
And even on the 2 and 3-player board, there's 4 plane routes, like 4 airlines. So even at a 3-player game, one of those airlines is not being used,
right,
until somebody buys it. But that takes 7 money, which is a lot to save up for early in that game. So
can one even imagine having 7 money at once?
No, especially not an airline.
Yeah,
company.
an airline.
$7?
Yeah.
We're too tight for that. That needs to go to fuel.
Well,
any extra savings? Fuel.
Well, here's the thing: is that like all of the people, they don't pay until you bring them there, so you can't hold that money on in the big, like you can't stockpile it because the fucking guy's like, I'm gonna get a ticket, and then I'm not paying you till I fucking you drop me off. So
yeah, we had a lot of jokes about like how much different the world would be if that was the airline policy. If airlines went bankrupt after the 3rd customer went to complain. And
then it's all over.
I also like the fact that you can go from JFK to LA like several times in the morning and several times in the afternoon and several times in the evening.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
uh-huh.
That's all.
Just supersonic jets, man.
Yeah.
If they were all Concords,
Yeah. So
they'd be just falling out of the skies.
Yeah.
that was all I played. I can't remember if Megan and I played. No, we did. We did play a Descent. So we also played Descent, I think, on Tuesday. We played another game of Descent. We are still really, really liking 2-player Descent. Man, those boards.
Double-handed?
Double-handed, yep.
Yeah,
So
you're still playing a four-player
hero
equivalent, yeah.
game. Yep. Just Megan and
Which
I, though.
Zach, Paul, and I are playing a 3-player
I
equivalent.
keep trying to get them to play, and they keep backing out at the last second.
Punk ass.
Or they forget, and then they make plans for them with each other that don't involve me.
That was months ago at this point. I think that was our Aurora beer tour with Aunt Julie.
Yeah, it was.
To one of the worst breweries I've literally ever had.
Oh, was that the one where like you all knew it was going to be a bad brewery?
No, we did not know. It was brand new. And we went there and we were like, oh my God, this is so bad that all of us did not finish our beers and left.
Oof.
Yeah, it was real bad.
Well, it's good that you missed out on Descent for that.
The other 2 breweries were totally good.
Oh, that's good.
I did not iron the background sheets yet, Pat. He wanted to jump in, chat, and see.
Never.
So, anyhow, and then there was one other game I played. Zach and I on Friday. I think it was Friday,
Yes,
right?
it was.
Friday.
Yeah.
Pandemic Legacy Season 0.
Pandemic Legacy Season 0.
What month are you at now?
That was January.
Yep.
So we have now played twice, and it was a month
So
between.
you played the prologue and the first month.
Correct.
Cool.
But it went very well. We won.
Also another double-handed game.
Also
Yes,
another
correct.
double-handed game. We succeeded. Turns out we are not good at reading instructions. Or rather, we're not good at actually paying attention to the instructions, because we did not correctly assemble our passports.
That's true. That's true.
How?
Well, so it tells you specifically to only do the first identity.
Yes.
We did not only do the first identity.
We just started. Well, here's the thing: is it tells you to put the sticker on all 3 of the faces.
So we started doing the faces for all of them.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not the
shouldn't be
worst
a
thing in the
problem.
world.
It shouldn't be a major problem.
But you do unlock more of those disguise stickers
That's what I figured.
later that would be cool to add just because they're like neat. But
Yeah. Well, I've already established whatever my Soviet name is, Russian Guyevich.
my identities are all 60s TV character related. So I have
Yes.
Richard Van Dyke.
Nice.
Okay.
Ant went with Ricky Ricardo, something related.
Okay.
Of course, Cuban.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I have the dad from Beverly Hillbillies,
Okay.
Jeb.
Yep.
Jeb, but it's like whatever Jeb is, like the full name of whatever Jeb
Jebediah?
is. Jebediah. Yeah, something like that.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I went full 60s TV with mine. I think so. We have some like I Dream of Jeannie references.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we went hard 60s TV with our character names.
The 2 characters that I have, they're allied personas or covers. They are instead of Johnny Utah, it's Jerry Arizona and Jenny Miami.
I don't know what that's references
Johnny
to.
Utah is from
Point Break.
Point Break. That's
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's
this
the
is
guy
a super-
Keanu Reeves is trying to infiltrate.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
because it's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
super
yeah.
realistic name.
Reagan.
Yeah.
Reagan.
Yeah.
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 Ronald. Sorry.
So that's what I've played. The
was-
Legacy Season 0
It was fun.
went really well.
Yeah.
We got
we're-
succeed.
We succeeded, but it was very much the second to last turn, I think.
Succeeded and not even a deke.
Nope.
No deeks.
I want to say we're right into August, but we haven't gotten there yet. Because the legacy deck is split into like 2 halves. I think we just finished the first half, and I don't think we're in the second half. Or if we are, it's only like the first month, the second half.
Gotcha.
So.
Gotcha.
But everyone's busy because with the holiday season and snowboarding.
Yeah. Supposed to get a bunch of snow this week. I'll talk about it during banter.
Yep. The Boulder had snow today.
Ooh, good for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to both continuing the Descent and continuing Pandemic Legacy Season 0. They're both so far going very well, and it's nice to be playing some campaign games again because I haven't done that in a while. So that's what I've played. Jeff, how about you? What have you played?
I have played Cartographers twice.
Cartographers Heroes.
Cartographers Heroes. Yeah, technically Cartographers Heroes twice. We played Zach's copy, which is just the Cartographers Heroes with the new maps. So we played the Floating Islands map, which was interesting, as is all the new maps. You can, I think it's split up between like six or seven different islands.
I think it's 6, yeah.
You play the cartographers like the map is horizontal, not vertical, and all the tiles are smaller, but all the islands are like a bunch of different shapes. So it uses a series of special scoring cards for the the horizontal vertical classic scorecard is now like is now like a special scorecard for this map. Because the other scorecards would not make sense. And you get to start on 2 islands. It uses the coins in a special way, where the coins would usually just be a point every turn. You actually have to spend those coins to attach other islands to your starting islands, because if you do not do that, you, instead of getting the 1x1 square, if you can't fit a piece into your 2 starting islands, you just get a coin. And if you had a coin, you would have to spend that to expand your series of islands. So it's sort of a interesting, like, do I want to expand? Do I want to stay where I am? Sort of back and forth. Because if you draw the ambush cards, the monster cards, and you can't draw them, your opponents just get to draw them on other islands, any other island they want. So it's in your best interest to expand to where they can draw that on an island that you have expanded to, because if they cannot draw it on any of your current islands, they can just put it on the furthest island possible, and you can't draw on that one until you spend coins enough to get over to that island.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, and that would be like, I'm going to put this one here, and that's going to be -9 each round
until you spend enough coins to where you can start drawing around it.
Damn.
Yeah.
That'd be brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did that happen to someone?
No.
Oh, okay, good.
The our specific special scoring one was have like one of each basic
the 4 basic types.
The 4 basic types: river, settlement, forest, farm on each island, which I was not able to do by like 1 type each, because of course I couldn't get the right shape at the right time, and just the way everything was coming and scoring out. And then I want to say I did not win that round.
No, you did not.
No, I did not.
It was.
I want to say you started out with negative points in the first scoring round.
First scoring round, I had -2.
That's pretty great. I didn't know that was a thing.
It was.
You get negative points from those monsters.
I was trying to. I took a risk that did not pay off. I want to say it was Wes that won the first one, the first game that we played of it. It wasn't a new person to game night, but it was new to us.
Okay.
Like,
sure.
apparently he'd been there a bunch, and I was like, hey, and his name is Garth. And he was like, yeah, I've been here a bunch. And I was like, yeah, you seem vaguely familiar, but I don't think I've ever played a game with you. He's like, yeah, I've been coming since we started this back up in like June. And I was like, cool. But I don't think I've ever played a game with him. But
no, yeah.
But actually, like our games of Cartographers was the second and third game that we played. We also played on the volcano map.
Which went really well. So
for the volcano,
the floating island was definitely one of the worst scoring ones that I've had.
Very low scoring.
It was. I think I ended up getting 67 and
winning.
No, I didn't
Okay.
win, but that was like 2/3 of my points were in the final round on that one.
Oh,
yeah,
geez.
Yeah,
it was a weird one to do because it is so like different than any of the other ones. Then we just did like a straight up volcano one, and it was interesting because more volcano came out, and the way that the monsters came out, which was super late,
as in the 4th round.
Yeah,
that was the first time a monster showed up.
Yeah. But then you could just like plop the lava around the monster and start destroying the monster spaces with the lava. And we got the dragon that gives you a bunch of coins when you destroy or cover up or destroy all of its spaces.
And it was so late that it could only fit in like 1 or 2 spaces, and it only had a little bit of wiggle room, and so it was easy enough to cover around it. Okay. And so that one was definitely the highest scoring one that I've had.
Very high scoring.
I scored
like 170 something?
No, it was 140.
Okay.
145, 142 was the winning score, which was mine. And I got 62 points in the final round. So almost what I got the entire game. No, I got 65 points. I got in 1 round. It was crazy.
Damn.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Cartographer's Heroes continues to be good. Like it has never not been good, and this just continues to make it more interesting. And
because we were playing with my copy, it didn't have the ruins in it, and I definitely did feel the missing those.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try and grab a copy of base Cartographers just so I can take those.
So you need the 2 ruins cards.
Yes.
Before we played Cartographers, we broke out my copy of Furnace, which I had ended up picking up on like, I need to get free shipping from this, and this fills that. Because we played it at Gen Con, and it's an engine building game of
nothing more,
nothing less. Cards turning resources into other resources into points, and that's about it. So we broke out Furnace, and Furnace is just good, but it is just that. It is just auctioning for cards with an interesting system and good components.
Yeah.
Because you have 4 discs, numbered 1 through 4. If you put a 4 disc down on one of the cards that you are bidding on, the highest number always wins. And if anyone else wants to bid for that card, they could not put that same number or that same color, but everyone has their own individual colors. So if I put a 4 on there, I can't put any of my other discs on there. Or
so somebody else could do like a 3 and a 2 to beat you.
Yes.
Well, not to beat you, because once they put a 3 on there,
they couldn't put the 2.
They couldn't put the 2,
right.
but
because you already have your color on there, you can't put another of your color on there.
But the reason why you would want to put a disc in there is that whoever is second and lower on it, you get compensated based on whatever
the
disc
top
is.
of the card is.
Yeah. So if it's like 2 coal on there and you put the 3 disc, then you get 6 coal out of it.
Because you get 3 times the compensation.
Okay.
Yeah.
It has a very interesting auction, and then everyone has their own like personal player powers that break
rules.
Yeah. Like Wes's was he can break all of the auction rules. So he can put his own colors, his own numbers. So he can put a 3 and a 2 on something, and then he gets 5 times the compensation because someone had their 4 on there.
But if he had put his 4 on there, he loses all ties. So
yeah. So he would not. So he could put his 4 on where someone else's 4 is, but he cannot win ties.
He would just get the compensation for it. But so if he wants to win something, he still has to put the highest one first. Whereas my ability was I got an extra 2 disc, so I had 5 discs instead of everybody else's 4. So I'd always get to place last no matter what. But then also it just let me get. We were playing with 4 people, so there are 8 cards out, so it gives me the ability to get a lot more compensation because I have more discs around or buying cards or winning cards. And then somebody else's ability was they get compensation at 1 higher than whatever their disc is. And then,
so if they put a 3 down, they would get 4 times.
And then Jeff's ability is
I could spend 2 coal and then run one of my engine cards again.
And that one so far has won 2 out of 2 games of Furnace that I've played.
So when we played at Gen Con, Zach had that card, and then when we played at Wednesday, I had that card, and I won.
Yes, and it's one of those things where it happened. The same thing happened, but different in both the games, where we were really short on a certain resource because it came out really late game.
There's coal, there's iron, and then there's oil, because it's like 1800s like material.
But not just that, but there's also gears.
Upgrade.
Which let you upgrade stuff.
So it turns your card from like having like one row of abilities, and then you can see it grayed out when you auction on it, and then you flip it over in the upgrade side, and then you can do both parts of that, which could be anything from turning 2 coal into 3 points twice, and then also if you upgrade it, it just gets you an oil on top of that, which it's just like a free resource.
Yeah, sure.
But as you run to the engines, you put all your cards down in front of you, and you just can run them in any order you wish every round. But once you've run it, can't go back. No go back. No backsies.
No backsies.
Yeah.
So, you're like, oh, this will let me get oil, or this will let me get coal. This will let me turn that coal into oil. This will let me turn that oil into points. And then you can go on something else.
Or like an oil and an iron into points, which I think is the most points you get from a card, like 7 points for every conversion.
Yeah.
But I was able to run like an oil and coal for 6 points times 2. And then I could run it again for another times 2, giving that one card 24 points for 1 round of running. And you only go 4 rounds, and I had a total of 80 points at the end. So 24 points was like a lot of points.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so the good thing about that one is until the 4th round, we didn't see anything that let you turn things into upgrades. The upgrade tokens.
The very last round, we got the like upgrade a card to be able to then run it and give you a free upgrade coin, because you also start with like a starter card. There's 5 different starter cards, as there is 5 different starter player power ones that give you a little bit different engine to start with, but each of them has your upgrade card, or you're like pay a coal, play an upgrade token to upgrade a card an infinite amount of times. But then there's like a different step in there of a different like conversion. But each of those gives you a free upgrade. And in the beginning of the game, I could run that twice, giving me 2 upgrade chits and then upgrade. So I was able to upgrade more cards to start with because I kept running that card twice.
Was coal that plentiful?
It was this game. Because the last game, all of the coal production came at the very end of the game.
Yeah.
Where this one, it came out pretty plentiful at the beginning. And enough so where I could bid on those enough to where I would be able to get them without them all coming out and other people claiming them immediately, because it's that lower tier resource, and you pretty much need coal to turn into literally everything else in the game. So having a lot of coal generation is useful, where in our first game, we got all the coal generation at the end, and it was like a struggle for resources because we needed that coal.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But I was able to upgrade a little faster than everyone else, and I want to say I was pretty behind the points to start.
Yeah, but you were able to turn, a lot of your upgrading was to be able to get those points once you got the resources later on.
Yeah, I was able to get some like a ridiculous amount of resources at the end. I think I
had so many extra resources I couldn't use.
That's your critical error, is like use all of your resources every turn, and if you're not auctioning on cards that you need to get to turn into other resources, you're not playing the game efficiently.
And the last round, nothing let you turn things into points, and we didn't have the upgrades already, so it was a lot of like, well, I'm building more resources that I can't turn in because I couldn't upgrade them. So
and it was a lot of like, I don't want to auction on any of these cards because they're not useful to whatever engine I could possibly do at this point. Like I would need to upgrade it, which we don't have any upgrade cards, so like what's the point? Ended up winning at an 80, which was nice. And that's how we knew that game was bullshit, because I won.
Yeah. You never win.
No.
It's not allowed.
And when you know it, the playmat that you can buy for that game is useless.
It is also cheap. It is only $10.
It's only $10,
so it's more just to have place to put your cards.
It's very thin.
It's not your cards. It's the main cards in the center, and that's
the auction row, and then it's spots for the different material, like the resource pools. Yeah, that's all the playmat is. But it is only $10. Okay. It is not a $40 playmat.
Is there room in the box to store the playmat in the box?
If you take out the insert, I want to say it does come with a decent insert too.
Okay.
It comes with
you
a
have
nice
to get rid
insert.
of it if you want to use the mat. But I also remember
I want to say it was folded underneath the playmat when we played it at Gen Con. So I think if you like roll it up and like kind of put it up in your corner,
it's one of those long and skinny ones.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Furnace.
Nice. Anything else?
No.
Zach, how about you? Anything we didn't cover yet?
Only one, and that was before we played Furnace. Wes and I played a another two-player game of The Crew, which I don't know if I mentioned it on here previously.
I don't think so.
But how the game normally is 3 to 5 players, but it does have a 2-player variant where it's not an AI, but there's a set of 14 cards off to the side of one of you. And whoever the captain is gets to, because that acts sort of like a third person, they get to choose what cards those play. And it's 2 stacks of 7. So you're only seeing the captain can choose that to play a card because they are a person in terms of like trying to win tricks, and the captain can actually assign them the tricks that you're trying to win, like the cards for going through the missions. They have to assign one or however many.
I thought you could talk through it, and at least the way that I played when we did Shred's Giving. You have what's out there, and you can kind of talk through, like, I can or can't do this.
Maybe you can, maybe can't, but we don't. I've never done that in this one because you couldn't really do it in the previous one. But it would make sense. But for this, it was just like the captain, they choose the first one. And also you can choose where the AI is in relation to you. So if it's Adrian and I playing and I'm the captain, I can choose to have the AI go before you or after you. But then it's set there for the rounds. But the captain chooses the cards that the AI play, and you can like sort of give suggestions. I don't even know if you can give suggestions, but it's like it's just up to the captain. So it really feels like one person. I mean, it's like one person playing 2 roles and one person playing 1. So it doesn't feel as equal. But I feel like it worked well enough to be a 2-player variant that if someone's like, hey, I want to play The Crew for just a little bit, and there's just 2 of us, it's like, yeah, sure, we can play 1 or 2 rounds while we're waiting for somebody else. So
cool.
Yeah.
I think I sat there and ate my food from work while you played The Crew.
Yes, correct.
I saw a little bit of it when I got in because you guys were already playing by the time we got there. Well, that concludes what we've been playing, I think, then, and can move us into some banter stuff. I don't have a lot. I've been playing Mass Effect Andromeda again because I don't have anything else to play really right now that is calling to me.
Okay.
It is
really that one.
It is thoroughly mediocre.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I would have downloaded the remastered versions and just started replaying Mass Effect.
I haven't purchased them yet.
Well, they've been on very good sales lately.
Yeah. And I wanted to see the story of Andromeda, like. Just to be
I bet it's really not going to matter very much on the next one.
Oh, yeah, because I'm pretty sure they're never going back.
I want to say that, like, hints have been they're going to, like, make a sequel that takes, like, part A from Andromeda and part B from the, like, previous trilogy and kind of mashes them up. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But thankfully, Mass Effect is not dead because EA killed Mass Effect, which is a crime against humanity for how good that series was.
Well, EA kills everything. And I didn't say it was not good. I said it was mediocre.
I would say it's not good.
It is an acceptable time waster.
But is mediocre not good?
No, mediocre is not good. Mediocre is like neutral.
I would say right now my time waster game is Slay the Spire, and that is a much better game than Mass Effect Andromeda.
I have been playing a lot of Slay the Spire on my phone lately.
I have been playing a lot of Forza Horizon 5 because that is my chill, play this for 9 hours a day type game.
That is a very fun one.
I tried to get into the motorcycle zombie game, Days Gone.
Yeah.
But it just didn't.
That is also a vaguely mediocre game.
It started really strong and then just gone. Done. So I don't know. I'm in a weird funk where I haven't found something to really latch on to. Otherwise, snowboarding, hopefully maybe happening this week. Megan got her split bindings. We've been waiting for those for a while. And there's a big old storm that's supposed to be rolling into the mountains today. So that's probably some of the stuff you said. Boulder got snow. I said Tuesday would be one of the better days for good turns for the early storm. And then there is a potential for a big old bomber storm at the end of the week. Some places seeing up to 20 inches of snow.
Not at Keystone right now. They're expecting only 0 to 2 inches Wednesday through Friday.
Oof.
Yeah. Copper might get upwards of 2 to 4 inches Friday.
Well, maybe the storm's been downgraded since I was looking at it on Saturday.
Yeah.
Also, it was supposed to be like the northern mountains, like Steamboat, that was really going to get hammered.
Yeah.
Which works great for me because Bluebird, where we do our backcountry stuff, is up by Steamboat. And I also just learned I get like 15% off of like 2 different lodgings in Steamboat because of my Bluebird pass. And my icon has like 3 or 4 days at Steamboat. So definitely going to go ride at Steamboat. Probably sometime in the spring when their snow's a little better. But
yeah, I didn't go snowboarding this last weekend, but maybe next weekend. I don't know. I got a whole condo I got to use, man.
Yeah, you do.
My pass is blacked out like the day after Christmas through New Year's Eve.
Yeah,
man,
which is a whole. That's Sunday through Friday. That like week, because I guess that's a big like we're gonna take the whole fucking week off and go snowboarding.
Yeah,
so
you don't want to be riding those days anyway because it's a nightmare of out-of-staters who ride once a year.
Yeah.
So if those are blocked out, then that's just like you have to buy those days specifically.
If you want to ride those days, you have to go buy a day pass,
which is standing in line for 45 minutes to like get to the actual window to buy a lift pass.
And they're like $120.
Yeah, that one day. Yes. So like even though my like Keystone pass is like $340, like I go 3 days and it has paid itself off.
Yeah, which is part of their whole like strategy for funds. Like they want to push more season passes because then every year they get to say, "Oh, we sold 1,000 more season passes than last year," or however many more. But it makes it look good to investors and stuff. But
do they also like block off more, like have more days blocked off? Or they?
It seems like it's always been about the same.
It's been Thanksgiving weekend, Christmas through New Year's,
and then like President's Day or something.
President's Day, MLK.
Yeah.
So any holiday,
basically.
Yeah.
I mean
that's
Day,
January. No, it's just MLK and President's Day weekends, and that's it. Yeah. And then everything else is fine. And then I get actually like extra days at the end of the year at other like Breck. I get like 5 days at Breck.
Oh.
Never been to Breck. I've heard Breck sucks, so it doesn't matter.
Breck sucks as a snowboarder. I've heard like from a skier, great.
I've been to Big Beers at Breck, and that's great.
Yes, I remember going to that. I remember getting very drunk at that.
That's what you do. Yes.
When you're sampling 12% beers all day long.
That's the first time I met our ex-barrel herder / 18-year veteran Andy Parker was at Big Beers because I went to a sour lesson. They have a bunch of conference things there where you can go there and like learn about sours, and he was doing one, and then Ant introduced to me, and then 6 months into me working at Avery, I was like, I met you already. And he was like, where? And I was like, Big Beers, when you had that gross sour barrel. And he's like, I've done that a lot. But I met you at that one. And he was like, cool. I don't remember you at all.
Sounds about right.
But that's also who I was hanging out today before I got here at the podcast. We're BFFs. Because every time I'm there every Monday, and he was like, oh, I have to go taste beers at the Old Town Arvada location today. And it's Jeff Day. I was like, yeah, I'm there every Monday.
I need to just come hang out and have some beers with you before the show over there too. It's
totally.
So close to my fucking house.
Yeah. I'm there from like 3:40-ish till whenever the fuck I get here. And that's why I was hanging out today, because I was like, it was like 6:58 or 5:58, And he was there and he was like, beer? And I was like, yes. And then you had texted like, I was like, fuck, I need to be there in like 3 minutes. And I was like, I'm going to finish this beer and then I'm going to show up.
Last bit of banter for me, nothing new on Job Hunt, but I tried to get my booster shot today, and fucking Walgreens showed a bunch of availabilities, and I booked it, and then it canceled it, and then it showed a bunch of availabilities, even more when I refreshed. And so I booked it, and then they canceled it again, and then I called them, and they were like, yeah, we don't have any availabilities. And then I called Kaiser, and they don't have any fucking availabilities. And so I'm going to have to go to like
you try
Ball Arena.
I'd say try CVS too, because that's where I got mine.
I went to Kroger / King Supers, but I also got mine like in March because I have the food and not March.
Your booster?
No, you didn't get your booster in
I
March.
I got my actual vaccination in March.
Yeah.
I got mine on food and agriculture processing, so I got mine early. I'm already boosted. I'm full. I'm good to go.
Same. Yep.
Oh, for saying in chat that he hears availability is pretty shit across the board.
Sounds like you should have just gotten it before now. Is what I'm guessing.
This is correct.
Yeah.
Maybe I should. I'm glad I got mine before general availability,
Same
as
here.
I did last time.
Yep.
See, at that point, I was like in the vague thing of like, I don't know if I really need it, and they were kind of waffling about whether like young, healthy people really needed it, and it was like,
would you really expect them to be like, no, actually, you're fine. It's okay.
well, I mean, more so that like there's most of the rest of the world that still needs vaccines. Like, do I really need a booster versus getting the vaccine to unvaccinated populations? And then now that it's like, no, it doesn't matter. Like, the ones that are here in the States are going to be here in the States regardless. It's not like they're going to take my dose from Walgreens in Denver and ship it to some other country.
Yeah.
So
get it or it's kind of wasted. Like once it's shipped to somewhere, it's not like they're going to return it.
Yeah.
It's either getting used or getting wasted.
So in that regard, I'm glad that availability is apparently tight because they're hopefully all getting used.
Yeah.
But that's it for me for banter. I don't really have a lot this week. It was kind of an off week for me. Doesn't help that I'm working 6 days in a row, which I never do. Jeff, Zach, you got cool banter?
Yes. I watched the Formula One race on Sunday.
Oh, yeah. Jeddah, right?
Jeddah, which was in Saudi Arabia. If you don't know where Jeddah is, it's the first time they raced there. It's the fastest street circuit, but a street circuit means there's a big bunch of fucking concrete walls everywhere. It was absolutely batshit insane. So the Formula 2 race, there was a big crash twice, to the point of where they couldn't even do like, let's finish the Formula 2 race by lap time or by how many laps you're doing. And they're just like, all right, we're going to start a clock and you're going to do that many laps. And then when the clock is over, we're going to do one more lap and then you're going to finish. And then they couldn't even finish that because they got into another fucking crash.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was fucked. And then Formula 1 started. There was not a crash to start with, which was insane that there wasn't one. They went 10 laps and I was like, okay, they're not going to crash in this lap and this race is going to be boring. They were only going to do 50 laps. And then Schumacher, Mick Schumacher, son of
Michael Schumacher.
Yes. Went off at turn 10 and then they did a virtual safety car, which was like slow the pack down by 40%. And that's just enough to where they can get the car off, where everyone's not really like racing at like 60% speed, basically. And then everyone dove into the pits to get new tires. And then after all these people were going into the pits to get new tires, that will change like your, first, second, third place and stuff. Max Verstappen had like a fucking bomber qualifying lap that he crashed out on literally the last turn. He already had P3. He was going to get fucking pole and crashed out on the last turn. And it was fucking like everyone was like wide-eyed, like, oh my God, you are going too fast for this track the whole time. And he lost it at the very end. So he started in third place. When that virtual safety car came out, everyone else went in for new tires. He stayed out and then got first because he was so close to first and second. Both of them, the Mercedes, went into the pits. They came out behind him, and then they red flagged, which means race stops. They all go into the pit lane. They get out of the cars. They have a couple drinks, And then they wait around because the barrier that the guy had gone into, Schumacher, was pierced. So they had to get the crane out. They had to lift the barrier out, put a new barrier back in. It's this Tech Pro barrier. It's the safest kind of barrier there is. It's softer, and then there's like empty layers in between. It's where they put like very high speed crash kind of barriers.
Okay.
Everyone was fucking pissed because now Verstappen is in first, and everyone's like losing their minds because they all get to go back in the pits now. The race stops. Verstappen gets to change tires in the pits under red flag. So everyone else spent time to do it, and now he just gets it for fucking free. Here's his fucking free tire change. Everyone's been super pissed about this kind of rule for a while now because it's a coin flip. It's like, did you do it before? Did you do it after? Are you getting an advantage from this? Because what if the red flag came later, just after you changed your tires versus someone that didn't? Like, it's something that everyone's like, should we have this rule or not? But he gets a super advantage from it. So when they do the restart, they just do another grid restart. Like they leave the pits, they go back around, and then they just fucking restart the race. And there's another crash, like within the first 4 corners. And then there's another red flag, and they go right back into the pits. And Verstappen's partner gets knocked out of the race. It's super scary because they sit so low, they can't see what's happening in front of them. And the guy that's always last, Mazepin, he didn't know that someone had crashed out right in front of him. It was Leclerc. One of the Ferraris had nicked a tire of the other Red Bull, fucking went into the barrier. And like, he comes out and he's fucking racing and sees nothing but like a car sideways, swerves over to the right, fucking rear ends another car. He's out of the race. Like, there was 4 virtual safety cars, 2 full safety cars, a red flag, 3 grid restarts. Like, lights out, we're starting. It was one of the most absolutely batshit insane races I've ever seen. At one point, Verstappen and Hamilton, who are racing for the lead, they both go off track. Later, like, the stewards tell him to give the place back because he got the position in, like, off track. He slows down in the last corner. So he's slowing. Hamilton doesn't just go around. Hamilton rear ends him, breaks off the front corner of his wing. Like, then Verstappen, like, speeds off. The next lap, he gives it back. He gives the place back, but it's in the DRS corner where the wing opens and you go a little faster, and then he just takes it back. He gets like a 10-second penalty because of that after the race. It was absolutely one of the most insane races that you could possibly ever have in Formula One history. There's no way they won't be talking about this race for years. It was an absolute fucking shit show because everyone was super confused. And then Max ended up getting a penalty for not giving the place back he got a 5-second penalty for not giving the place back, even though he gave the place back. And then retook the place, gave the place back again, didn't have to, because literally seconds later, the stewards were like, 5-second penalty for not giving the place back after he had literally just given the place back. But they had already made the decision, and then he got another 5-second penalty for it.
Jesus Christ.
It was 5 cars did not finish due to damage from crashing into shit. It was absolutely insane.
That's crazy.
It was fucking insane.
I don't know how insane it actually was, but I really appreciate your, like, retelling of it.
He's trying to give the place back, and Hamilton fucking rear ends the car in front of him. Like, instead of just going around, like you are literally racing your championship rival, and he's slowing down in front of you, and you don't just go around, you fucking rear end him instead.
Dude, gotta get those shots in when you can.
Mm-hmm. So Verstappen apparently got the 10-second penalty because he was at fault for that, because he brake checked Hamilton because he wanted Hamilton to go around, because then Hamilton was going to be in front of him, and then he would get the DRS and then would just immediately take it back. And Hamilton knew that he was trying to give him the place back right at the DRS zone and didn't want to pass him there. And so they were both just slowing down at the same time. they're going into the next race tied for points, which is unheard of in the 70 years of Formula One. Like, it has never gone to a tie into the last race.
Where is the final race?
It is in Abu Dhabi.
Okay.
And tensions are high, to say the least. Like,
well, at least it's better than those games that are the championships where it's like, oh, this person has been
and that's what it's
established.
been for years. And that's why this year is insane, because it has been so close. Because Hamilton has just fucking walked away. He's been fighting for the championship with his teammate, and his teammate is like nowhere even near him, and that's only been the person like close. So this, it's Abu Dhabi has changed. Abu Dhabi has changes from last year. So Formula One is nuts this year, and that is this Sunday, and the race starts at 6 a.m. So by the time I get up, the race will be done, and I will be watching the replay to figure out.
Gotcha.
Is there a good place to watch it for free online?
No,
Okay.
there is not.
Okay.
There are places you can watch it for free online.
Ofer wants to fly to Abu Dhabi with you on Sunday.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, we don't have ESPN2 at work, so...
Yeah, they do play it live on things. So,
Cool. Zach, did you have any bantery things you wanted to add?
I mean, before that, maybe, but not anymore.
that's right.
Yeah. Pretty much all I say is...
Drive to Survive on Netflix is going to have some real material for next year. That's all I'm saying.
I bet.
You can watch that on Netflix for not free.
Oh, my Netflix is free. I don't pay for it.
First up in news, we have, boy, do you want a really expensive gaming chair?
Gaming lounge.
Gaming lounge? Well, it can be yours for 3,000 British pounds and also be branded with Hendrick's gin.
I do like gin.
I also love gin, but I also don't love $3,000 of gin.
3,000 pounds of gin.
Yes. 3,000.
1.5 tons, right? That's...
Yeah, that's... Yeah.
Yeah, so, no idea where this is coming from. Like, why a gin company decided to make a gaming lounge chair.
So I think their thought around this was like a video gaming chair.
Yep.
And they were trying to like twist it and be like, just like board gaming chair. No one likes board games. We're going to twist it from this video game world.
Although apparently they did, like, on their press release, they talked about something like calling it a lighthearted response to the global gaming boom.
Yes.
Because board gaming has blown up over the last several years. It's everywhere. Investment companies are all about buying up.
But this feels more of a turn from the video gaming into not video gaming, and they don't
definitely.
And it feels like they don't realize that board gaming is
actually
big,
a thing.
Actually a thing, yeah.
Isn't there a picture farther down that actually shows people like using it?
Yeah. So if we scroll down here, like
that's how I want to play board games, right?
That's exactly how. Like, what game are they playing here?
Drink the gin.
I can't tell what actual game that is.
Is that bingo?
I don't know.
It looks like a weird bingo. But whatever games it's coming with are like Hendrick's Gin branded versions of those games, I think.
Wonderful. Yeah. So I don't know.
It doesn't even look that good of it. I mean, like.
So I guess like this is probably one of those things, especially when you look at this photo of it, like it's in like the library. It's like a,
I'm trying to imagine that just in like a basement.
House.
Yeah. That's just like, oh, here's just the TV, but like not much on the wall. There's a couple, a board game shelf, and then that, and I'm like, that doesn't fit.
Well, that you should go look at that red leather chair I had for a while as the DM seat for MHGG. It's down in our guest bedroom as like a reading chair.
Okay,
it's just really randomly in the corner of that room. It's great. Like, and the length is weird because that's far longer than any normal human needs on even like a lounge chair. Like, I don't know.
Well, it's got so it can make rooms for the games.
I guess. Yeah. I get, and all of this stuff on the side here that you can see, that all folds underneath the chair. So like you can almost see down here, like on the bottom portion of it, the side where it like folds down, that whole drawer slides out, and then the tops of them will lift up to be like, I don't know, gaming drink spaces.
Gotcha.
Craziness. All velvet though, so I bet it feels real nice. Yeah.
It's probably a very nice chair.
Yeah. If one of our patrons wants to spend $3,000 and buy us a
3,000 pounds,
3,000 pounds, which is probably like 3,500 American. I don't know what the conversions are right now. You can though. We will give it a thorough review.
I mean, they also say that they're literally only selling one of them.
Do they?
Through Clink?
Oh. Okay, never mind.
So this will be very unique.
I missed that it said that I thought it said, I kind of like,
you didn't do your research is what I'm hearing.
I glazed over that sentence and saw that it was only selling the chairs through their company Clink. But I guess if they are only selling one of them, then it seems bogus, and I'm sorry that we talked about it.
Then who cares?
Next up on news.
Marvel Champions is getting another expansion after its Infinity Stone expansion called Sinister Motives, which starts a Spider-Man themed arc.
Yeah. So whole big bunch of things as happens in the big box expansions for Marvel Champions. A bunch of new villains, a couple new heroes.
It's going to be the Sinister Six.
And then a
be
couple
in
others,
this.
I think.
Sandman, Venom, Mysterio.
So Sandman, Venom, and Mysterio are their own three. And then there's also the entire Sinister Six.
Yes.
So yeah, 9 villains then, I think that comes out to.
It seems like the other ones will probably be like a combo deck, not their own individual.
Well, it's almost how the Sinister Six seem, is that they're like a combo deck.
Like the Wrecking Crew, probably.
Yeah. So I think the Sandman, Venom, and Mysterio might have their own larger, and then there will be a combo like fourth scenario.
Yeah, that is the 6.
That will have mini versions of the other ones that aren't in there.
Yeah. The 2 new heroes are Ghost Spider, aka Spider-Gwen, and then Miles Morales Spider-Man, along with a bunch of new like allies and stuff,
including Spider UK.
Yeah, Spider UK, Peggy Carter, Agent 13.
Oh, wait, what?
Yeah.
Agent 13 is in the as a neutral ally.
Right.
Yeah. Sharon Carter.
Thank you.
Carter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, no, Sharon Carter. Yeah, she's Agent 13. Peggy Carter is like, oh, that's a
no.
She's an old agent.
Yeah. Billy Braddock is. I don't remember. I don't know. It's hard to remember Captain Britain in this comic book. Yeah, I don't know. Psylocke's brother.
Okay.
They are siblings.
All right.
Captain Britain and Psylocke of X-Men fame.
Take your word
They
for
are both,
it.
They are both Braddocks. That's why we can't have nice things.
Psylocke?
She's got the purple fist psychic knives. She's got the
Olivia
ninja
Munn
suit.
in
The Apocalypse
movie.
Yeah.
She's the Asian, very not wearing much clothes, 90s X-Men character.
Yep.
Don't really remember her.
Going over there, Adrian.
Here's
a
Olivia Munn dressed up as her.
Yeah, okay, I remember that character vaguely.
Here's what she looks like drawn with a bunch of butt.
Oh yeah, no, this is the classic comic book.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of butt.
Yeah.
Awkward body contortions that people don't do in real life.
Apparently, you just can't have a woman facing forward, and you just can't.
Not in 90s comics, you couldn't.
No, these look newer than that, and they still do it. So
great.
Anyhow,
back to Sinister
UK
Motives.
Spider. UK Spider.
Spider UK, Billy Braddock. Yeah.
anyways, it's another expansion. It has 2 heroes and at least 4 different scenarios of fighting villains, and it's going to start some more spider peoples.
Yeah. I thought the Venom boss looked kind of interesting because it has like the bell tower that you have to like charge up like, while the bells are silent, and then you get him ringing and you do more damage to him, and you can use the tokens on it to like deflect his damage off of you. So there's kind of an interesting like save up a bunch of damage. Like, and you can use damage when it's silent to put tokens on there instead of actually doing damage to him. I don't know. All of that seemed kind of cool.
Yeah. It's got a bunch of spider people in here that people
does.
probably have no fucking clue who they are.
Well,
Definitely I don't.
So right now there is Spider-Man and then Spider-Woman. I think she was in one of them already, right?
But which Spider-Woman is it?
Spider-Woman. I don't know
Okay.
who that is.
But, yeah, I know.
And I'm just trying to think, is there any other, has there been any other ones?
The original Spider-Woman moved to like a more of a like elderly psychic person thing, and then Aranya moved into the Spider-Woman role, and and all of this is knowledge I had from at least a decade ago. So
Jessica Drew, that Spider-Woman.
Oh, that Spider-Woman. Okay.
Yeah.
And
then
maybe there was a Spider-Girl, I think, at one point or another.
I wouldn't be surprised. And then there's Venom, but like the Flash Venom.
Flash Thompson.
Yeah.
Yes. That was a hero character. Yeah. But Spider-Woman.
So that would make it 5 Spider hero characters.
Yes.
Once this comes out.
I would assume that the other. Okay, so there was 2 Spider-Women. There was that Spider-Woman, and then there was another Spider-Woman, and then they have changed that up into like a Spider-Girl.
Gotcha.
And yeah, it's extremely confusing because
Sounds
Spider-Man
convoluted.
sells,
Yeah.
and you can kind of do whatever the fuck you want, and people will buy it.
Yep.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Good luck keeping up, nerds.
Now we just need the Spider-Man where it's Dr. Octopus controlling is inside his mind.
Sinister Spider-Man.
Yeah.
No. Oh no, not Sinister Spider-Man.
Spectacular?
No.
All right, time's up. We're moving on.
Moving on. Last up in news. Did you know D&D helps with social anxiety?
Yeah. Big article in The Guardian about how, especially in the wake of the pandemic, when everybody's feeling all kinds of anxieties and stuff, D&D's continuing resurgence is helping people find kind of a place to go and express themselves and be social without feeling some of the normal pressures of being in a social situation. This one I think is a lot of focused on Australia, which is kind of interesting. But
Superior
That's what it was.
Spider-Man.
But yeah, it talks about a whole bunch of different things about like, everything from like building characters to like, how you can have a character kind of be a self-insert or reflect a different part of who you are on the inside that you don't want to necessarily show. So you can do it in a safe and controlled environment of a board game, or in this case, kind of a tabletop role-playing game. Yeah, it's a longer article. I'm not going to like read the article on air. I don't think anybody wants that, but it'll be in the show notes. So go check it out. Go read it. It's got a bunch of cool stuff about how D&D is growing and helping people. So good stuff.
I had a coworker that has been in a D&D campaign talking about the session they had this last weekend, and apparently it was bad because they had like a chess themed D&D scenario where you had to like control chess pieces as part of a puzzle, but like the DM didn't check ahead of time that everyone knew like how to play chess. And so there were certain people that were like not getting it.
I didn't realize there was anybody alive who didn't know chess.
Apparently.
There's a bunch of babies that don't know chess.
Wow, I didn't know
there
there
was
was anybody
certainly a
old enough
player-
to play D&D.
There was certainly a player
chess.
in this that did not know how to play chess,
That-
and they were not having a good time.
That reminds me of the time that in Lamentations when we had that like puzzle that we had to get through, but it was all like mental. But we just were at some point. It was just like, David, just lead us through it. Like, this is not...
Don't remember it off the top of my head.
Okay.
But.
It reminds me of the time that at the ski condo in Dillon, me, Megan, and I think one other player, maybe two other players, playing with Ant as the DM, spent 5 hours exploring the same 6 rooms until Ant was finally like, "You fucking idiots, it's a dice."
I was also in
dice
on
face.
that. Yeah, they were die facings because you kept teleporting to different rooms, and then you had to realize that it was like a cube that you were playing on the surface of.
Yeah, like we had it mapped out. It was like if you rolled out the faces of a die and we just didn't kind of like connect it, you could have folded them. And like it was even something where it was like, in this room, there's a center, like a hourglass in the center. In this room, there's 4 posts in the corners.
Yeah.
In this room, there's like,
Yeah.
It was like, oh God.
Did not connect.
Did not connect at all.
No.
That almost ruined D&D for Megan.
Yeah. That's the sort of double-edged sword of puzzles.
Yep.
Like, that's cool, but also if they don't get it, then no one's having fun.
No.
But yeah, cool article about Dungeons and Dragons and social anxiety, which serves as a very nice segue into the Kickstarter segments, where we have 2 Kickstarters this week.
First up in Kickstarters, we have the Dungeon Masters deck. This one is very well funded, $13.6 thousand of a $3,000 goal for 537 backers, about a week left to go, and you can pledge for $25.
Yeah. So we hinted at this one last week. I think I dropped a link in the chat because somebody asked. But this was sent to us by a listener of the show. It is their first Kickstarter. And it is basically a deck of cards for Dungeon Masters to rapidly come up with very basic structure for all kinds of different story elements. Kind of an inspirational tool. Basically, the deck is divided into a bunch of different types of cards. They currently have, I haven't looked through all of the stretch goals since last week. I think they're up to like 60, 70 cards. The base deck is 50. And they're divided into the following categories. They've got a world and location creator, character creator, quest creator, enemy creator, dungeon creator, and then miscellaneous. And inside each of those little categories, there's multiple cards that you kind of put together. So like for a villain, you might put like, I'm going to actually scroll down, just use one of their examples here. Because they've got better ones than I'm going to come up with. So for like a villain, you might do like a villain card with a motivation, an asset, a layer, a weakness, and a power. So that gives you an idea of like, you know, the core structure of what your big bad guy for the campaign might be. Or for like a town, you could do something like the settlement, the culture, draw like 3 faction cards, and then draw a threat card. And so like, okay, you're in this town, here's the 3 main factions, there's this threat looming, go. Really helps you come up with things on the fly. If you run a more improvisational type of campaign, you can do it like right at the table, because they're just like cards, you just draw them out, boom, boom, okay, this is what it is, go. Or for planning, you could even do it in downtime, you know, and you don't even have to draw randomly. Like you can just scroll through the deck and use it to get ideas and build something using a set of cards. But yeah, I don't know. I thought it looked kind of cool. Since I currently DM, I'm always interested in new DMing tools and DMing like resources.
Right.
So thought it looked kind of cool.
And only $25.
Fan of the show sent it to us and said, "Hey, I'm doing my first Kickstarter."
Nice.
And we like to support our fans and give back to them when they do cool things. If it had been lame, I'd have been like, well, that's unfortunate. Sorry, I didn't see this message until 2 days after your Kickstarter ended.
Well, congratulations, you made it. DM deck. Dungeon
Masters deck. Got a couple days left when the episode here drops.
Last up on Kickstarter, we have the Master Tome Gaming Box.
More D&D stuff.
Very well funded, $174,000 of its $10,000 goal, 726 backers, and still about 3 weeks left to pledge this one, which you can for about $200.
Yeah, this is another case of, do you have a bunch of money to throw at one of your hobbies? In which case, do you want to throw a bunch of money at a like wooden crate that folds out into a DM screen and holds all of your stuff? Because that's what this is.
Yes.
The main pledge, the base pledge for $199, just the base pledge, is just the box. So it's like a big book-shaped box. It's got a couple of leaves that fold in. It doesn't come with, like in this little GIF that's playing right now as I'm talking about this, it's got a bunch of little pieces that are flying into it. Those aren't included.
Modules.
Yeah, all those modules are extra add-ons you got to buy.
$30 each.
Yep. Yeah. And some of them get even higher. But there's a bunch of different modules that you can add that are like dice trays or like gridded out to hold different dice or minis, things like that. There's even a pair of them that like clip together and make a dice tower. So I got a few different things like that. Some of it looks really cool. I would love to actually be able to put this whole thing together, especially like the scale picture here shows it next to a player's handbook. It's big. Has a lot of cool stuff in it. I like all the magnet attachments, like so where you can clip pages and notes and things to the inside of it. It'd be way more effective than my using like binder clips that I use for my DM screen right now. So it'd be cool, but I don't have hundreds and hundreds of dollars to throw at it.
Why
But
not?
If you do, because I don't make enough money yet. And I have
Seems
too
like
much
you need
debt.
to fix that. Well,
Trying to do both. Trying to pay down debt, trying to make more money.
you could just, if you ignore the debt, then you suddenly have no more debt.
I tried that for like, a decade.
Yeah.
Turns out, doesn't just go away if you ignore it.
Is it student loan debt?
In fact, it gets bigger.
Yeah.
Interest is a bitch. Some of it is student loan debt, in fact, since you asked. But yeah, it's got a bunch of cool different stuff. Super modular. You can kind of customize it however you want. It looks awesome. I wish I could justify buying it or affording it or something.
When is it? How long is it going to take for them to do all of it?
Estimated delivery just in July. So
Okay, that's
like
not too
6-7 months. Usually these kind of things go a little bit quicker. Seems like some of that type of manufacturing goes quicker for whatever reason than board game manufacturing.
I mean, if you wanted it right now, not July.
Oh yeah, because that one is no longer available.
So you're looking at November, December of next year currently.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because there are 6 left for September. There are 86 left for October, and I don't think there's any for November that I see. So yeah, not July. Yeah, a lot of customization options.
In their
but
example picks, it seemed like it fit other companies' like modules. Like it looked like it held like the wormwood like little hex.
I think that's one of
system.
their little add-on things.
I didn't see that anywhere, but
Like, which example are you?
in the GIF that like goes between how you can
This one?
It's right under where the colors are.
Oh, under the colors. Colors
Under
are
the
down here.
colors. Yeah. Right there. One of those GIFs with all the little like hex inserts and stuff.
It does kind of look like
It looks like some other company's stuff could fit into that system.
It did kind of look that way.
Yeah.
Especially because you're right. I don't see in any of their add-ons anything that looks
Like those little hex dice tray cube holder things, you know?
Picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah. Might be modular to maybe some other companies' things. Or maybe, that's entirely possible that they have done previous Kickstarters that they could Elderwood. It's probably just other Elderwood stuff. Yeah. Elderwood has done other hex chest things.
True.
Which I bet that is what those are. But
yeah.
Which is neat that you could put your other stuff in this thing. So
Sure.
yeah.
Sure. Totally. Right on.
For only $200
Minimum. That wraps up all of the news in Kickstarter for this week.
Sure does.
No listener feedback,
None.
which means that we are at the end. Time's up. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. If you want to get a hold of us, there's a bunch of different ways to do so. You can send us an email.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com.
You can find us over on Twitter, where I tweet under at MHGameGuys.
I am Zach_MHGG.
I am Jeff_MHGG.
You can go over to punchboardmedia.com, and in addition to checking out all of the other awesome content creators that are over in that organization that we're a part of, You can also search for MHGG or My High Game Guys or MH Game Guys, and one of those will eventually lead you to our episode posts, which include all of the show notes and links to the news and Kickstarter items we talk about. So if you want to go back and read like that Guardian article we talked about in news today, you can go find the link to that and read that whole thing. There's also links to things like our Slack channel, which if you wanted to join that, you could. A lot of fun chat about board games and all sorts of things of that nature, news and politics, sports. You can get F1 threads with Nick and Jeff.
It's pretty much just us two.
The Snow Sports channel, you can occasionally get us chatting in there when there's actually snow and we're doing snowy stuff. And if you got something you're super interested in, you can come post about it in random or general, and if enough people talk about it that it gets annoying for the rest of us, we'll give you your own channel.
Yes, to make as little other chat happen in those main channels.
Yeah. We've got to keep general and random for the most obscure, obnoxious stuff.
Yes, so no one ever talks about that thing you actually care about where anyone else can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Yeah. So we silo things off. So 3D printing dies a slow, sad death.
Oh, it is very.
Also, be sure to give us a follow, maybe even a subscribe. If you've got Prime, you can do it for free. Follow or subscribe over at our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/MHGameGuys. We got 7 subscribers right now. I'm one.
Cool.
We've got 5 subscribers.
Yeah.
That's pretty much everything. As we mentioned at the top of the show, we are currently being sponsored by GiveWell. If you go to their website and do a donation, they are doing a match up to $250. You just have to put in where you heard about them in the podcast section and then type in My High Game Guys. It'll autocomplete for you, and you can fill that in and give to charity and support the show by supporting our sponsor. That's everything. Thanks everybody for listening. Hope you're enjoying your December. We'll be back next week. As always, I've been your host, Adrian.
I am still Zach.
And I am tied for Jeff.
Bye.
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 Punchboard Media, where we all
bring something
to the table.
pull up a chair
at punchboardmedia.com.